Good morning and welcome to this Friday's Assembly. This week we're going to be looking at Lent. Good morning, Mrs Crossan.
Good morning, Mrs Nicholson. Good morning, boys and girls.
Now, this week in the news, boys and girls, we had our announcement from the Scottish Government on Tuesday, which announced that our primary 1s to 3s and nursery children are returning to school on Monday. And to say that we are excited is the understatement. We are so happy that our youngsters are coming back into school, which is just fantastic news. Our primary 4s to 7s are going to continue with their remote learning, and a decision will be made on the 2nd of March. And we hope that we'll continue for staff to check in with you on a regular basis, and we are so proud of how well you're doing with your remote learning. And I know it's frustrating that you just want to be back at school, but unfortunately it's not our decision.
No.
In the news this week, we also had Valentine's Day last weekend, and it was the holiday weekend. Mrs Crossan, did you feel spoiled on Valentine's Day?
Well, I was flitting, so I was packing boxes. But I know that lots of people had a lovely time, getting lots of lovely gifts and lovely presents. And Darcy Russell gave me a nice box of chocolates.
Well, isn't that just lovely, boys and girls? And not only that, Valentine's last weekend, this week on Tuesday, we had Pancake Day. And I have to say, I was delighted to see all the messages, especially on our nursery Twitter feed, of lots of tossing of the pancakes. And lots of them ended up back in the pan. And
Well
when
done.
Mrs Nicholson did hers on Tuesday, when I gave the toss up, mine didn't end up in the pan. They ended up on the floor,
Oh dear.
Mrs Crossan.
Mabel would have loved that.
Absolutely. So that's something Mrs Nicholson needs to develop as our next steps, is to practice tossing those pancakes so that they land in the pan. So this week, boys and girls, Pancake Tuesday starts off a period called Lent, and that's what we're going to have a quick talk about for this morning's assembly. And on Wednesday we had something called Ash Wednesday, which we're going to have a wee chat about during our assembly this morning. So Lent begins on Ash Wednesday. So on Wednesday, Lent officially began, boys and girls, for people who are Christians and believe in that faith. And the day after Shrove Tuesday, Pancake Day is what's known as Ash Wednesday. So Pancake Day, a fancy word for that is Shrove Tuesday. Now, Lent lasts for 40 days. It starts on Ash Wednesday and it ends on Easter Sunday. So this is the 40-day period leading up to Easter now, boys and girls. However, if you look at the calendar and count the days, there are more than 40 days between Ash Wednesday and Easter, so that's a wee maths thing for you to have a wee look at this week on Teams. Lent is actually 46 days. However, the 6 Sundays are excluded because there's no obligation for you to fast or give something up on a Sunday.
Okay, so what does Lent mean? Lent comes from the Middle English word Lenten, or the Old English word Lenten, both of which mean spring, and that's the season, not jumping about, that's the season. You know, it is to do with jumping about though, because it's a time for new beginnings and new growth.
Absolutely. And I think when we look at the new beginnings and new growth, when we started to speak about spring and moving into Easter, I'm sure you'll all know that one of Mrs Crossan's favourite songs is Spring Chicken. And I am really excited to see Mrs Crossan do her Spring Chicken, because it's one of my favourite songs as well. So over the next few weeks and leading up to Easter, we're all going to be practising our Spring Chicken song.
Absolutely.
I wonder how many of you can actually sing that today without actually looking at the words. I'm sure you'll know them off by heart by now.
And the actions. Practice the actions.
Now, when we talk about fasting, Fasting is really just another word for giving something up and taking that time to think about something and agree that for those 40 or 46 days that you're going to go without something. And I think that's especially relevant just now during lockdown, because during lockdown, boys and girls, it must feel as though we've given up a lot already.
Yeah.
You know, we've given up going out with our friends, coming into school. There's so many things that I'm sure that you feel you've given up already. But during this time, Christians do something called fasting, which you can see from the top box. Fasting is giving something up. Now, you might not know this, but Mrs. Nicholson's downfall is crisps, not chocolate, crisps. And every night, Mrs. Crossan, I start saying I'm going to just have a wee bag, and then one bag's never enough. So for fasting, from now till Easter, Mrs. Nicholson's going to give up crisps. Now, I don't know how long I'll be able to manage, but I'm going to really, really try. And if you see me being a bit grumpy, you might know it's because I'm missing my crisps. During this time, during Lent, not only do we give something up, but it's also a time of giving. Now, in Valentine's Day, we had people delivering a wee Valentine card and a wee chocolate to somebody. We have given lots to other people, even sometimes just giving a hug to your family. But this is also a time to think about giving to others. And sometimes, just like in other assemblies, it's that smile, Mrs. Crossan. So giving doesn't have to mean a present. It could be sometimes just giving your time. Because I know when my big boy, when I go in to see him, he's quite often on his computer and he's busy. And what he's promised to do is to give up his time, that when I come in, he's going to stop what he's doing in his computer and he's going to have a wee blather with me for 5 minutes. So
that's lovely.
I'm really happy about
That's
that.
lovely.
And Christians in the last one, they also use this as a time to say special prayers.
The colour purple, that's my favourite colour.
It's one of mine as
Actually,
well.
my favourite colour. And it's very, very important at Lent. The priest wears purple garments and a purple cloth is placed on the altar during Lent. Why is that, you might be wondering? Well, purple symbolises, oh, that was a hard word, I'll say that one again. Purple symbolises both pain and suffering leading up to the crucifixion of Jesus. It also symbolises the suffering of all humans and the world under sin. Purple is also the colour of royalty. This reminds people that Jesus is King, and that's what Christians believe.
Thank you, Mrs. Crossan. And that was really interesting because I actually didn't realise the symbolism of the colour purple. Now, when I actually look at a lot of the pictures, you see purple a lot, especially in churches when our priests and our ministers will wear perhaps a robe that's the colour purple. And on Ash Wednesday, you can see from the picture, and you can see the priest in the picture is wearing that colour purple. Quite often, the priest on Ash Wednesday will mark the forehead with the sign of the cross to symbolise the beginning of the period of Lent. Giving up treats at home or home comforts helps people to understand just how much Jesus sacrificed. And that's what Christians believe, and that's why they have that period called Lent. It's a time where they fast, so they'll give something up food-wise. It's a time where they will give. It's a time where they'll pray. And it's a time where they'll prepare. So this morning, just to finish, and one of the things I'm going to give up, and Mrs. Cross and I talked about this, was giving up talking so much. Because I think you'll realise, now I can see Mrs. Crossan's laughing at this, because our assemblies start off and you think, right, this is only going to be a wee 10-minute assembly, and before you know it, boys and girls, it's 30 minutes long. So I'm going to try and give up talking as much and spending more time listening. So our assembly this week is hopefully a lot shorter. So what we want you to think about is, what are you going to give up for Lent? And there's lots of suggestions here. So you can see that we've got cake, We have got burgers and fast food, because I know during lockdown, Mrs. Crossan, one of the things I look forward to is a takeaway.
Yeah.
Because I feel it's a real treat. And we're not saying give that up completely. It might be that you maybe cut down in the amount that you're maybe having. Television, is that something, Mrs. Crossan, you feel you could give up?
Yes, I think I could do less of that, but I think really for me the cake one is the big
Is
one,
it the
and I
cake
see
one?
there's
Uh-huh.
sweets there.
We can see there's sweets
Yeah.
there, you can
Yeah.
see there's mobile phones.
Mm.
And that, boys and girls, we put that picture on there because quite often we feel as though, and certainly if it's my son, the mobile phone is attached to him.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not about giving up your phone completely, it's maybe about taking some time away from your phone and maybe going a lovely walk with the family instead. And now I've started actually not taking my phone when I go for a walk, so that I don't hear that beep 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 to reply to lots of emails that come in. PlayStations and gaming consoles, so maybe not give it up completely, but maybe cut down in the amount of time. Fizzy drinks, and you can see the last one as a wee person with lots of wee symbols, and that's sometimes naughty words that we shouldn't be saying, because sometimes people say that, and sometimes we'll have things on Teams and people will say things and they don't really mean it as a swear word, but that's something that I know I need to be very, very careful that, we don't have that language. So think about this week, what are you going to give up for this period of Lent? I know for me it's crisps and not using my phone as much and taking a break from emails. Mrs. Crossan, what's your main thing going to be?
Cake, sweeties, chocolate, and what I decided to do is during my flat I found a wee money box and I thought I'm just going to put some money in there that I would spend on those things and give that to a charity.
That's a lovely idea, So well done, and we'll see how many of you, even on Teams, you can let us know what you are giving up or going to try to give up. Thank you so much for joining our short assembly. You'll notice short assembly because we're starting a new week this week. And we will see our primary 1s, 2s and 3s and our nursery children back in school on Monday. Our primary 1, 2s and 3s are going to come in just their normal gate and up the slope beside our eco picture from 9:15. Remember, we come in and we hand sanitise and then we go to our class. A wee change for our hub children. If you're coming into the childcare hub, you'll come in that same gate, but instead of going up the slope and in that way, you will go through into the big playground and go in the green door, which is opposite primary 6 classroom, and you'll come into the hub that way. At the end of the day, our primary 1s to 3s will leave through the same way that they do through the car park. And the reason we're doing that is so there's lots of space for the adults to space out so that we keep those 2 metre distancing, and our hub children will come out just the normal front area. Now the primary 1s to 3s will start coming out at 3:05, Mrs. Crossan, for the primary 1s, and then the primary 2s and then the primary 3s will come out, but our hub children will come out the front entrance at 3 o'clock sharp, just as normal. So have a lovely weekend and take care, and we'll see you all on Monday. Bye!
Bye-bye.